it's very tough to break in as a woman. Whether in politics, look at Hillary Clinton, one of the most experienced and competent candidates for any office anywhere in the world, still suffered from misogyny as well as all the other stuff. Yes, it is difficult. And I was one of the first and few women in modern sort of, war coverage. I mean, the first Gulf War, there were not that many women. Now there are many, many more wherever we look. So in that regard, it's really changed, and it's really great. I would say that all of our bosses need to understand the phenomenon. It's very simple: equal pay for equal play. And until we're paid the same for the same job, then we still have a struggle. And it's not subjective. It needs to happen, and that is a quantifiable way of equalizing the playing field. So that's what I believe should happen in my profession and every other profession. And I think there just needs to be, just a lot more understanding that more women can mean more competence, more women can mean more peace if it's in global politics. And we're not talking about women dominating, we're just talking about leveling the playing field. We're talking about equity and parity. It's really a simple concept, really, really simple. And it's shocking to me that it's still considered, revolutionary or a struggle still today after so many years of this. I interviewed just recently at the United Nations Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who is the first and only female president to be elected in Africa. And after 2 terms, she's about to stand down, as the Constitution says she must. And she says she's doing that, unlike many of the men who are still there into their dotage. Look at, Mugabe in Zimbabwe, look at the president of Equatorial Guinea. You can look all over the place. She's doing it partly because it's a constitutional imperative in her country, but also to try and, send a lesson to the rest of Africa. If I can step down, you guys can too. Give people a chance. Let democracy flourish. But she and many other world leaders have said that, the more women you have at the negotiating table, for instance, the more likely you are to have a reduction in tensions, more serious peace negotiations. And I interviewed Michelle Bachelet, who's the Chilean president. And at one point, there were several female presidents in Latin America. Now she's the last one standing. So yes, I do believe it makes a difference if there are more women at the table, whatever table it is.
You recently sat down with Hillary Clinton. What was that like with her, and how was her character, and what did you learn, and what are the takeaways from that?
I did the first interview to be broadcast after the election. Right. It took us several months. This was in May, and we sat on a stage in New York in front of actually a women's audience. It was an organization called Women for Women International. And I think she was willing and able, and she felt comfortable to speak her truth then in a way that she hadn't during the campaign, and in a way that seemed maybe stilted, and she's very guarded. And she was unplugged. And it was really interesting, actually, really interesting to see it. And I'm sure people are reading her book. It's sold a lot of copies now. What Happened, and I think that she presents a much less guarded version of herself, which I think perhaps had she presented that on the campaign trail, it might have made a difference. But I was like many women, electrified to see a woman running for that office, and I would have loved to have seen a woman president in the United States. I think it would have been a game changer for the rest of the world. It would have shown the rest of the world, it would have unlocked some kind of a key, because again, America is such an important country, and often what America does, people around the world follow. And it is extraordinary that this country has never had a female president, or anywhere near, not even a vice president.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.